Welcome back to the Ultimate Pool Pro Series. The buzzer is in the building. He takes on Chris Melling as the Pro Series continues. And Brian Halcrow has made a ball off his opening break. He's made a couple, and he's got a good chance to kick us off. Stephen Jameson and Tony Holgate with you as your Thursday evening cruises along. We're Tony's just checking the watch. We are very much sort of cruising along. 10 o'clock already. The time has flown this Thursday. We've seen some great action today. On the main table, we've seen 3 6-red shootouts, which just felt extraordinary. And here we are all of a sudden. Would you know it? We're well behind schedule, but it does mean we get to have a little look at Chris Melling and Brian Halcrow for our Thursday evening's entertainment.
Well, we've had those 6 red shootouts, but we've had some upsets as well.
Oh, goodness me, yeah. Yeah, if you weren't with us earlier, Jez Graham eliminating the Ultimate Pool #1, Tom Cousins, via a 6 red shootout in a match that I commentated on. It is one of the most bonkers matches I think I've ever seen. Not just the shootout. And then, if you are just joining us, you've missed an incredible upset. Cleve Thompson knocking out Jordan Shepherd after a 6-all match in regulation. Went to a 6 red shootout. Cleve Thompson getting the job done. Which is exactly what Brian Halcrow is going to try and do in this one. Him and Chris Melling go back a long way. They are familiar foes in that sense. And just about 2 of the most different players you could lay eyes on the Ultimate Pool circuit.
Chalk and cheese,
yeah,
by definition. Brian's already played a match today. He had a prelim against Oli Bale. And I was talking to Brian earlier, and he said the last 3 times he's played Oli, he's lost, I think, 7-3 and Oli Dish 7. He lost 7-1 and Oli Dish 7. He was 5-1 down today. He said he was doing it all again. And he said, I don't know what happened to him. He said he took the foot off the gas. He said, you don't do that with the buzzer. And he's come back and won the game 7-5. So a good comeback there for Brian. But I did say to Brian, well, you've got a different kettle of fish to deal with tonight.
Yeah, hasn't he just? But in a similar way, you know, it's similar sort of style matchup, really. Oli's definitely from that chalk side of things, much as Melling is to Brian's cheese, to further that metaphor.
Absolutely.
That's wants to hold up.
He'll take that.
Okay, yeah, it's all right. There's nothing for short there. It was always going to be a bit of a risk. He's a little bit long, but he's still okay.
One thing about Brian, nobody faces him, and I've known Brian and Chris both in a long, long time. And the buzzer, he's scared of nobody.
Yeah, good shot. Mindset is so much to this game.
I'm stunned. The Greek mythology's done me. Sure, you think somebody's called Harry Stottle.
Well,
Harry Stottle.
Well, the thing is I must admit, when he told me this a few Monday nights ago, I was, let's say, rather taken aback. And but yeah, no, he's up on his Greek is our Brian. Melling's at a brilliant break here, and he's not been rewarded. It's interesting. We saw him, didn't we, in Pro Series 10, the one that he won by playing like God himself.
Yeah.
And he experimented a bit with his break, and he'd sort of moved away from that sort of topspin one that he likes, where he tries to sit it right in the middle of the table, and he was sort of just going for almost like flat power, and it worked amazingly well for him. But I know the break he's just done is his preferred method.
Red Bull's in play.
There wasn't much wrong with that.
No, I did a game earlier. Ryan Pisani and Christophe Lambert, and their breaks were phenomenal in that match. And the amount of times they didn't get a ball was unbelievable.
Yeah, Christophe has a little bit about him in that sense, actually. Brian been unlucky here? I think he's okay. Might have a little plant to go at here. He's been a little unlucky with how that's come out.
Yeah, but their breaks, the explosion when they hit the pack was phenomenal, and the amount, the balls were just flying around and not going in. Everything was sort of banging around by the pockets and just and just stay there.
I'm such an admirer of Christophe. That's a lovely recovery from Brian. I'm such a big admirer of Christophe Lambert's game, and especially the way he breaks. I think is just so pure. He's so sort of, you could sort of teach that in the textbooks. You know what I mean? How Christophe breaks, and it's exactly the same method every single time. And I think there's a lot to be said for that.
His whole game is very measured. I like Christophe as a player. You know, and we talk sometimes about it. You know, the adrenaline that goes through him. He does it shakes. You know, but he doesn't half hold his cues well.
Oh, it's incredible, and it really is just horses for courses, isn't it? I think Brian's going to go into this red and yellow again here off the top cushion, potentially. That one he was just lining up, round to have a look.
The thing with that shot is he's got to land on it as well at the same time, because if he goes past, you know, because he's going to be playing it with left hand side, he could end up putting himself in the cart.
That's not bad, I don't think. I think he'll take it.
It's livable.
Yeah. He might not be, if he can't play it straight away, depends how close he is. He can play the one on the other side of the table. He's got to be careful about yellow, but I think no, he's fine. Good chance, good shot.
Just got to get the weight right here. He's under hit it. I think we might be having a look at a crossback double. I think the cut into the middle is dangerous. It's got fraught with danger, in fairness, because that cue ball's going to be sailing around the table at a rate of knots. Big shot this from Brian early doors.
It looks like he is looking at the cut. Oh, it is the double.
Just look at that cue ball.
Yeah, lovely. That's a great start for the buzzer. And these are dangerous games, these for Chris Melling. We talked about it with Tom Cousins earlier. That the best time to play a Chris Melling, a Jordan Shepherd, a Tom Cousins is in their first round match, especially if you yourself have already had one and you've got to win. You know, that's the perfect time to play them. And the Monday nights especially are an event that Brian's had a bit of a struggle with at times, because, you know, he is traditionally quite a steady player, for example, which is a kind way of saying slow, which means the Monday nights are tough for him, because so much of it is played on 15 seconds. The matches are all very quick. You have no time to settle. All the sort of the fun and games that come with those events. I know he struggled with them, but an on-form, a confident, a good Brian Halcrow doesn't have to worry about all that, because his game's there. Doesn't have to second-guess himself. And he played really, really well on that Monday night. I was really impressed. And it didn't go his way on the night. Tom Cousins, you know, can do that to you. And eventually got through that group, but not without a bit of jeopardy. And Brian played particularly well against Tom. And yeah, I was just impressed. And, you know, you can play well on a Monday and not qualify and sort of take the positives from it. I think that's what Brian was trying to do.
I remember talking to Brian last season up here, and he felt that certain players underestimated him. You know, I'm not going to say didn't give him respect. I think everybody gives everybody respect, because you have to. This is the top of the pile. But he felt that people underestimated. The players didn't think he could play the shots that they could all play. He said, "Well, I can." And he said, one day I'm going to prove it. He said, they're going to regret playing me. And then, well, is this his time?
Yeah, he judged that cannon well. Knew he was going straight into the 8-ball. It does just make his work tricky here, though. Wonder if that 8-ball's blocked the bottom rail. If so, the bottom right corner pocket's not accessible for the bottom of the reds.
I think he could just slide this in with a little bit of left hand side. Could just dig it into the rail, so the cue ball sort of hits the bottom rail, just bumps
just into the 8, yeah.
Just gently, not too firm. He could just pop it in. In fact, he's played it even better. He's gone directly into it, which means he holds on the. Well, he hasn't got to move and do anything with the cue ball now.
Yeah, so that's lovely.
Brilliant shot.
Really nice. Looks razor sharp, doesn't he, the buzzer?
Incredible stuff. Chris will be enjoying it.
Well, that's the sort of 3-0 rapid fire vintage that we're used to seeing the magician himself dish out, but he's getting a taste of his own medicine here, as Brian Halcrow has not even let him have a shot at the table yet. Super start from Brian. He's done nothing wrong, and Chris Melling has had one dry break and finds himself 3-0 down. For me, Chris, in that last event, as he goes in off here, well, Brian Halcrow, what a chance. But Chris Melling in that last event towards the back end of the year that he won, over the course of that tournament, that day in particular, which I think started by beating Cole Bedford 7-0 in about 9 minutes.
That was it, yeah.
That day of 8-ball pool, I think for me is the best I've ever seen anybody play.
Yeah. And I think it was Carl Donahue, wasn't it? The 8-0.
I felt sick for him, but
because he never had a shot.
No, he didn't. It was insane. Like that, I don't think on that whole day, I just don't think anybody that I've seen, at least in the flesh, I mean, has anyone's ever played the game better. I know you've been around this sport an awfully longer time than I have. Not to make you check the old calendars there, but a couple of decades as opposed to a couple of years, so to speak. But you know, that was some standard, wasn't it? Even by anybody's standards. Yeah,
it was relentless. You know, you expect somebody to just even have a bit of bad luck somewhere, you know, and in off the break or something like that, or a bad kick. But it was just everything he just hit, went in the pockets. If he needed to move anything, he moved it out perfectly and landed on it. It was just the Midas touch all the way through, and to do it twice in the same day is just insane.
Yeah, and even on the games that he was challenged, like the final against Shane, for example, Shane, I think, went 4-1 up in that game. But Chris was just playing lights out. It was terrifying, and to hear him say at the end of that, "That's the best I've ever played this game." You think about how good he was in what many people consider his heyday. It's a scary prospect.
Yeah, but that also shows you that he won't be bothered about this at all, because he knows he's had no chance. If he'd have been up there missing balls,
he'll be annoyed. Of course he will. You know, but he won't be giving himself any grief. He just knows that next time he gets an opportunity, he's got to take it. The only issue for him is that could come at 5-0 down. The way Brian's playing, he's not missing.
No, and his break's been very good as well.
Brian's doing everything right. It's a lovely pattern he's taken out here. And on a day of upsets here at the Ultimate Pool Series, there's another one brewing.
Well,
4-0.
You could have got very good odds on a Cleve Thompson, Brian Halcrow, Jez Graham treble.
But Brian Halcrow has made an excellent start this break, if he can run it, to go 5-0 in front.
And that's the beauty of this game, though.
Look at this. Look at this, Tony.
Good grief. He's getting lazy now. He's putting 3 of the same colour.
You watch his face as he comes to the table there. It's almost like he can't believe what he's just left. The quickest man in all of 8-ball is, statistically true, is making mincemeat of this. And ordinarily you wouldn't usually go for the suit that you've potted 3 off, but the others are just on an island. This is... I mean, this is 5-0, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm trying not to laugh now, because it's just this... I think we're witnessing something that doesn't come around very often.
No.
This is like Halley's Comet stuff. I'll have to go and look out the window later and see if that is coming by at the moment. And Brian doesn't look like he's going to miss either. He's quite composed. He's not getting excited with it, is he?
No, he's been cool. He's been clinical as well as Brian. And that's the important thing. You cannot get carried away. And Brian's been around this game an awful long time. He's not going to get carried away. He knows just how good Chris Melling is. And Brian Halcrow won't feel safe until he's in the shed with 7 next to his name in that sense. But another fantastic break and clearance, chalks the cue, and settles down on an 8-ball to go 5-0 in front. Do not adjust your sets. The buzzer is buzzing.
He is absolutely buzzing.
It's very easy to tell yourself, think the right thing. You know, I've run 5. Oh my goodness, he's straighting off, folks. Oh my
Look at the Reds. Look at the Reds, Stephen. I think the Reds are... We've just cut to the replay, but I think the Reds are all over the bags.
Look at the meerkats in the back. the fellow Ultimate Pool pros peering. They can't believe it.
Well, this is what happened back in the day when we were playing, and you knew one of the big C's about to go. All the vultures sort of start to come around and hover, because there'll be whispers now going all around the hotel at this scoreline.
This is incredible.
especially if Kicks makes it 6.
I was just about to say before Chris broke off then that against a lot of other players, you'd be in Brian's shoes, you'd be telling yourself, you know, I've just run 5 racks, person in the chair is perfectly capable of doing the same. I need to stay on it. But the thing is even as a player, you don't really believe that. One eye is thinking, I've just about got the job done here. Against Chris, you don't have that safety. It doesn't exist. You know he can because you've seen him do it millions of times. But even Chris Melling is going to struggle to come back from 6-0 down, and Brian Halcrow is 3 balls away from doing that.
But especially with Brian's break, it's been phenomenal. Chris has gone in off 2 and had a dry one. Played it perfect. Whoa, I can't believe what I'm seeing. But then again, you've got to hand it to Brian Halcrow. He's just come out, and I know some of these finishes have been very, very, they have been easy finishes, a couple of them. But you've got to hold yourself together. But his cueing, it's just been faultless.
He's not done a thing wrong. He's been inch perfect all the way through. What a performance so far from Brian Halcrow, and he is breaking to whitewash Chris Melling. Brian Halcrow breaking for 7-0. Oh, it couldn't quite be the perfect game. That right there, a good break from Brian, controlled the cue ball, didn't get a ball, is technically the first thing he's done wrong. And he didn't quite get that break, actually. I say controlled the cue ball, it wasn't his perfect break, he was way to the side there. Didn't quite get as much of it as he would have wanted.
If I was Brian, I'd have thrown my cue across the arena in disgust.
I'll tell you, that's a great shot from Chris. As long as that 8 ball passes the red, and I think it does. But you're about to watch Chris go in flow mode here. He's not going to hang about.
But he's putting his first balls to this match. He's putting his first balls to the tournament.
Yeah, he's got no time to sort of get used to the table. He, doesn't like the table by the look of that. He's got the stink face on.
As I say, how does he know he's not been on it?
Oh, God.
Well, the magician swiftly moving through these, and we know that this man doesn't miss these sort of finishes.
Well, he's been perfect all the way through this finish. First shot was brilliant, just moved the 8 ball. Didn't get it right, but moved it enough so he could land short position, 6-1.
No, one more of them, and that's good night, Vienna.
Oh, that's perfect. I mean, that's perfect. That's the break, Chris. That's the break. Yeah, I mean, when he breaks like that, you can see exactly why he chooses that break, which I think is, technically and sort of objectively is harder to hit than others. Requires a little bit more sort of technique, but I mean, if you can do it and do it like that, why wouldn't you?
Long looping cue action of Melling.
Yeah, just
pulls back such a long way with the cue. He's halfway down the M6 with it.
Just wonder the way that he's going about these, because they've been pretty presentable leads, and he always tell you, I never expect to miss a pot, etc., etc. If there's an element of him which is going through the combinations, working out how the table's playing, how the cushions are playing, how the side's taking, all those sort of things.
It's just all the same pace. He glides, he pulls his cue back, has a slight pause, bang. And it's just every shot's a repetitive motion, and it's classy to watch. I mean, it's brilliant.
I mean, the 2 frames that he's dusted off there were, I think, a minute each. Second match point, so to speak.
Oh, that's it.
Cool, he put a bit into that. And he's made a ball.
Oh, and look at them. Look at the reds.
He's only got a slight bit of work to do, I think, on one of the reds.
Yep.
Just above the left centre pocket. We'll see it come to a rest there in just a moment. Just looks a little awkward. I don't think he can drop it in. Oh, actually, look at it again, and I think he might be able to. I'm not sure.
If he gets right behind it, I think he can.
And he obviously has got the red close to it as a nice connector.
Looking ahead in the frame now, you're looking at the black ball. So it's only available really in the left-hand middle, maybe the left-hand top. So you're going to need the cue ball down at the bottom end of the table, Stephen. But he's taking yellows. And I'll tell you what, that's because of the black ball. I wouldn't, well...
Oh, yeah, I didn't like that.
That's a mistake. That's the first one we've seen. He tried to get on that ball right from the offset, and he's not put enough side on that shot, and well, Chris might be quite relieved.
It's not end of visit though. I think he can get through to one of these yellows at the bottom of the table. Oh, he can't. You can see here Chris is already halfway through his cue action by the time it stops. It's a good shot by Brian as containing safeties go. He's developed his yellow, so if he gets a chance to come back, they're all there for him, and he's not left Chris anything easy.
You just saw Chris tap the table in appreciation to his shot there as well. He stuffed him right on this bottom rail. He's only got this one long red into the top left-hand corner, and this will take some sublime cueing to knock this in.
Well, even for a player of Chris's prodigious talents, this is tough.
Second prize. Now we're immediately looking to see which yellow the buzzer can knock in that red in the same shot. Now we're having a little look.
The issue is Chris has given us a little taster as to how he's feeling and how he's playing out there, that you can't just afford to play a loss of turn and let him back to the table.
No, you can't. If you're going to go for this, you've got to go to pot your own ball. You've got to try and win the frame from here. He could pot this yellow in at the bottom of the table, try and leave himself dead straight on the yellow that's nearly on the blue spot. If he got straight behind that, he could play it into the red and sail it in behind. And then, but it's not easy from that angle. And the red's slightly to the left.
Yeah, it's on the knuckle, isn't it?
Well, he's not going that way now. Right then, the other way now is well, he could power this in and go up there, but then that's risky. Drop this in, leave the angle with the other one in the middle. I don't know.
I mean, he could use the one that's just below the balk line, next to the two reds, but you can see from the main camera, he doesn't have all the red to aim at there. It doesn't look on. You can play a lost turn with that, but that's not much use.
If you're going to play that, the yellow into the middle of the table, into that red, you want to be screwing the cue ball down to the bottom to leave Chris, at least something difficult. But
is this the shot, Tony? It is. Brilliant.
Wow. Now then.
Well, there's mission one accomplished.
Does the yellow pass down into this bottom left-hand corner? Or will Brian have to play that yellow at the top, but cutting it back into the top right? You can see how thin that is. It does go. It's tricky, but he's also got to remember he's got to get this cue ball off the three cushions to get onto the yellow up into the top left. He's made the pot.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's
friendly bump.
That's a brilliant shot.
Right, he's going to have to play this yellow. He's got to get the cue ball to try and bounce between the two reds off that cushion and come back out.
Yeah, he's got to cue this really well.
Because if he contact one of them, he could end up behind them. This is match ball, basically.
It certainly is. Oh, how well has he played that, Tony? How well has he played that?
That's a dream of a shot. Dream of a shot. This is for the match. My word, Brian Halcrow, what a performance.
What a performance. That is the Buzzers' best performance on the Ultimate Pool Series in this, its fourth year. Brian Halcrow with an absolutely special takedown of Chris Melling. 7 frames to 2. And the Buzzer is flying into the next round. What a match!